Okay, Assalamualaikum. So this is the third topic that we're going to cover after the accounting equation and classification. This is double entry principle. Okay, so in the previous topic, what we have covered is that we have seen that how accounting transactions affect our accounting equations. Okay, how accounting transactions affect our accounting equation. And that whatever that we want to do, we must remember that the effect on the accounting equation is that at the end of the day, the accounting equation would still remain balanced. That is our goal. So before we can open any ledger or account to record any accounting transaction, we need to identify first which ledger accounts that are involved. Okay, the account that we identify are usually the accounting classification that we have learned in the last chapter. So what we have learned in the last chapter is that, for example, for an asset, we have two types of assets. One is the non-current asset and the other one is the current asset. Okay, and under current asset, we have several items such as cash on hand, bank, inventory, account receivable. So the name of cash, bank, inventory, account receivable can be the name of the ledger itself that we want to debit or credit accordingly. Okay, another example would be when we want to record items under revenue or expenses. Okay, there are many examples under expense such as interest expense, rental expense, utility bills, salary, repairs, maintenance, fuel expenses, and more. Okay, it means that those type of expenses can be the name of the account itself. For the revenue, the account can be sales revenue, interest income, commission received, and dividend received. So let's look at some example. So I've taken this from our previous slide. If you still recall this, the effect of the transaction itself, right? In order for the accounting equation to remain balanced, the transaction needs to be recorded in both on the debit side and also on the credit side. Okay, so let's take example of the one that we have done in the previous slide, the three transaction. Okay, and we have learned that if we decide to bank in cash of 3,000, our bank will increase, our cash will be decrease. Okay, bank will be increased, cash will be decreased. For the November 17th, expense will increase, rental expense will increase, credit, the cash will be decreased. And then for the 21st, asset will be decreased because we take out the bank. Expenses will be decreased because we have reduced the purchases. And the owner's equity will also be decreased because we have created drawing. And we all know drawing reduces capital, reduces owner equity. Okay, so when we want to do the double entry or the journal entry on the effect itself, okay, remember what I told you. If the assets, if on this side is increased, then we debit. But if it's decreased or reduced, then we have to go the other way around, which means it must be credit. So here we can see asset is increased because bank has increased, so we debit bank. Okay, and here is decreased because cash has been reduced, so cash must be credit. Ya, bila aset bertambah kita debit, bila aset berkurang kita credit. Cuma apa spesifik item dalam aset tu yang bertambah, apa yang berkurang. Dalam kes ni yang bertambah asetnya adalah bank. Yang berkurang ni aset juga tetapi cash. So you debit bank, credit, cash. Okay, for the next transaction here, you can see here, expense has increased because we paid more rental expense, and our cash is reduced because we have used up the cash. Jadi bila expense bertambah, expense belah sini kan, expense bertambah debit. Expense bertambah debit. Okay, asset berkurang credit. So debit rental expense, credit cash. Okay, you look at your equation here. Okay, and then for the third transaction here, you can see that all of these classification has been reduced. Okay, kenapa aset berkurang? Sebab bank berkurang. Okay, kenapa expense berkurang? Sebab purchases makin berkurang. Kenapa owner equity berkurang? Sebab ada drawing. So, bila aset berkurang, kredit bank. Bila expense berkurang, kredit purchases. So, awak debit drawing, kredit bank, kredit purchases. Okay, so this is the one that we have done in the previous lecture video that I've given you. But we only have done on the effect, but we haven't done on the journal entry or the ledger. Right? So we see how the double entry would work based on the effect that we have identified previously. Okay, started the business with 20,000 in cash, so we agree that owner equity increased because of the increase in contribution. Asset also increased because of cash. So identify first what kind of cash that we are dealing here. So I have bold the word cash, so that it will be the clue for you. So asset bertambah, debit cash, equity bertambah, credit capital. Macam tu. Okay, for the second transaction, increase in asset because of the printer. Asset is also decreased because of the usage of bank. Okay, so debit printer, credit bank. Okay, and then on the November 13th, sold goods on credit to Rachel. So revenue kita bertambah, aset kita berkurang ya. Aset kita bertambah sebab penambahan debtors. So asetnya adalah debtors, so debit debtors, credit sales, ini adalah revenue lah. Kemudian November 14, bank in cash 3,000. Item yang terlibat adalah bank dengan cash. So dua-dua adalah aset, bank bertambah, aset cash berkurang. So debit bank, credit cash. November 17 kita bayar rental menggunakan tunai cash. So expense kita bertambah, asset kita berkurang. So what kind of expense we are talking about? Rent. So bila expense bertambah, debit. So expense bertambah, debit rent expense, asset berkurang, credit cash. Okay. November 21st dia ambil owner ambil 800 daripada bank dan 200 stok dia untuk kegunaan sendiri, personal use. Jadi ketiga-tiganya berkurang, asset berkurang, expense berkurang, owner equity pun berkurang ya. So bila asset berkurang kita kredit, expense berkurang kita kredit. Owner equity berkurang kita debit. So debit drawing, credit bank, credit purchases. Okay, untuk 24 hari bulan pula, sales return by Rachel. So bila sales return mengurangkan revenue. Remember what our previous lecture? Sales return mengurangkan revenue. So debit sales return, credit debtors ya. Sebab bila Rachel pulangkan balik barang, hutang dia kepada kita semakin berkurang. So asset berkurang, kita kreditkan dia. Okay, bought motor vehicle using cash, so asset bertambah sebab ada motor vehicle, asset berkurang sebab kita guna cash. So debit motor vehicle, credit cash. Okay, bila bayar bill pula, expense kita bertambah, tunai kita berkurang ya, cash kita berkurang. So debit utility bill, debit wages, credit cash. So once we have identified the debit and the credit, the journal entry of each of the accounting transaction, then can we prepare the ledger or the account itself. So when you want to prepare ledger is basically like this. Yeah, this is your ledger. Okay, so this is your ledger. This is your ledger. So ledger must consist of, mesti ada date, particular ringgit. Okay, so on this side, this is what we call debit. This is what we call credit. Okay, so ini adalah debit. Ini adalah credit. Okay, so if you say debit cash, credit capital, it means that bila dia debit cash, buka account cash, letak sebelah debit. Itu maksud dia. Okay, kalau saya kata credit capital, so buka account capital, letak di sebelah credit. Okay, so in this case, debit cash, credit capital, so you have to open two accounts, which are the capital accounts and the cash accounts. Okay, so masukkanlah debit cash, pergi ke sebelah debit, dekat account cash, masukkan tarikh dia 1 November, particularnya adalah siapa kawan dia. Kemana awak kreditkan item ni? Debit kan? Kemana awak kreditkan? Awak kredit ke account capital kan? So awak letak sini capital. Letakkan nilai lah RM2,000 yang awak dah masuk. Kemudian terus buka account capital. Terus sahaja buka account capital. Buat terus di account, kemudian letak di sebelah kredit, sebab dia kata kredit capital. Letakkan tarikh, particularnya siapa kawan yang debit dia. Siapa kawan debit dia? Kawan debit dia adalah account cash. So letakkan cash RM20,000. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of ledgers, a lot of accounts when you want to prepare your trial balance. Ya, lagi panjang transaction kita, senarai transaction kita, lagi banyak accounts yang awak kena buka. Okay, for another example would be purchase yang tadi tu, yang printer tu, kita beli printer kan, so kita cakap debit printer, credit bank. So buka account printer, letakkan di sebelah debit, 3 hari bulan, particularnya apa, siapa kawan dia? Kawan dia di bank account, letak situ printer 700. Dan kemudian dekat bank account letak sebelah kredit. Bila ada debit, mesti ada kredit. Bila ada debit, mesti ada kredit. That's what it meant by double entry ya. Maka masukkan 2 kali. 2 kali masuk. Satu transaction tu kadang-kadang awak boleh masukkan 2 ataupun 3 kali. Okay, untuk November 13 pula, dia jual barang kepada Rachel. So kita kata tadi, debit debtors sebab aset bertambah. Ya. Kemudian kita kreditkan jualan. Okay, so buka account debtors Rachel, buka account sales account. Okay, jadi masukkan sebelah debit sales 500, kemudian sebelah kredit account sales debtors Rachel RM500. Okay, seterusnya adalah November 14, kita ada buat bank in cash kan. So double entry kita adalah debit bank, kredit cash. So buka account, tadi dah buka account bank. Previously we have opened the bank account. So awak sambungkan sahaja, jangan buka account bank banyak-banyak. Okay, kita dah buka account bank, kita dah pernah buka account cash on the previous slide. So awak sambungkan sahajalah. Masukkan 14 hari bulan. Ya, 14 hari bulan. Debit bank, cash ni dapat ni. Debit bank, credit cash. Ya, bila kata credit cash, pergi buka account cash, letak sebelah kredit. Okey, kemudian 17 hari bulan dia bayar rent guna tunai, dia bayar sewa guna tunai. So buka account rent, debit rent, credit cash. So buka account rent, letak sebelah debit cash. Kemudian pergi ke account cash, letak sebelah kredit RM400. Okay, so bila awak dah gabung ke account macam ni, awak akan nampak lah ni duit masuk kita, ni duit keluar kita. Duit masuk kita, duit keluar kita. Okay, November 21st, dia drawing tadi kan. So debit drawing, buka account drawing, dia kredit ke mana? Kredit ke bank, kredit ke purchaser. So ada 2 entry lah. 21 hari bulan, debit ke bank berapa? 800 ni. Ya. Debit drawing 800, kredit bank 800. Kemudian debit drawing 200, pergi ke account purchase, kredit purchases 200. Jadi jumlah drawing kita sini adalah 1000. So dia balance jugalah. Okay, seterusnya kita ada debit sales return, credit debtors. So tadi ada account debtor ratio tadi, jangan buka baru ya, sambung sahaja. Okay, debit, pergi buka account sales return, kemudian awak debitkan dia, debit, kemudian awak kreditkan di account debtors ratio. Okay, 26 hari bulan, debit motor vehicle, credit cash. So pergi buka account motor vehicle, letak sebelah debit. Cash account kita letakkan sebelah kredit RM4,500. Dan akhir sekali kita ada bayar expenses kita, which are the utility bills and wages. Okay, so debit cash, debit utility bills letak sini, kredit di sini. Kemudian debit account wages, kreditkan di sini. Okay, before we go further, you need to know two more additional information. The first one is the discount. Yeah, discount. The other one is carriage inwards and outwards. So, under discount, there are two types of discount that you need to know. One is the trade discount. The other one is cash discount. So what is trade discount? Trade discount is a discount given to customers because the suppliers want to encourage customers to purchase more and more or in bulk. Okay, ini macam kira macam beli satu RM10, beli tiga RM25. The more you purchase, the lesser you have to pay in total. So this discount will be deducted from invoice price and then the net value will be recorded in the purchase account. So kita takkan record debit purchases RM30. Kita akan record debit purchases RM25 terus. Okay, we just take the net value and be done with it. Okay, the next type of discount is the cash discount. So cash discount is given to debtors because business organisation wants to encourage the debtors to pay their debt obligation earlier. Okay, so biasanya bila kita bagi hutang dekat customer kita, kita akan cakap bayar dalam masa tempoh 30 hari. Okay, tapi kalau awak bayar dalam masa 10 hari, saya akan bagi awak lagi 2% discount. Okay, if they pay earlier than what they are supposed to pay, then they can pay lesser and lesser. So this discount will be reflected in the ledger account when the debtors pay the debt back. Nanti kita akan tengok macam mana ya kita record the cash discount ni. Okay, if the business give the cash discount, then it is discount allowed. Tapi kalau kita terima discount, then it is called discount received. So discount allowed will reduce sales here, reduce revenue. Okay, whereas discount received will reduce purchases. Maksudnya dia akan reduce expenses. Okay, berkenaan dengan carriage inwards dan carriage outwards. Okay, so both are expenses that business incur to deliver goods to customer, carriage outwards, or to deliver the goods from supplier into the business, carriage inwards. So bila dua-duanya adalah expense, so kita kena debit lah. Yeah, when both are increase in expenses, so kita debit kan dia, debit carriage inwards ataupun debit carriage outwards. Okay, so these are the example that you can find in your textbook. Yeah, question number 2, page 54. The book page might varies based on whichever version that you use. Okay, but it is under the topic balancing of trial balance. It's under the topic of double entry principle, question number 2. The name of the company is ABM Trading, so you can look in your textbook, but that's the question that I take from. So it's a lot, yeah? So you can see you have like maybe 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19 the transaction that you need to consider. Right? So dia akan bagi yang ini sahaja. Yeah, but I would suggest to you when you do your common test later on, sebelum awak buat buka account, I want you to write in the question debit apa, credit apa. Debit apa, credit apa. Okay, because that will be your guideline when you want to do your ledger later on. But kita kalau tak tahu debit apa, credit apa, macam mana kita nak buka, kita tak tahu nak buka account apa. So before you start doing your ledger, please jot down in the question itself, beside the transaction, debit apa, kredit apa. Okay, contoh macam saya buat sekarang ni. On the 1st April, dia kata started a business with 4,500 cash. And we know the item that are important is the started, the business and also cash. So bila ada perkataan started, so dia adalah capital. Capital bertambah, cash pun bertambah. Cash tu asset. So asset bertambah, debit cash, credit, capital. So tulis dekat tepi soalan awak tu nanti, tulis itu debit, cash, credit, capital. They will act as your guideline when you do your trial balance. When you do your ledger later on. Okay, untuk nombor 2 pula, deposited 3,500 of cash in a bank account. So item that are relevant here are the cash and the bank. So awak tahulah account apa nak buka. Kita nak buka account cash, kita nak buka account bank. Okay, so kita keluarkan duit daripada cash dan masuk dalam bank. So bank bertambah, debit bank, cash berkurang, credit cash. Bila asset berkurang, kita kredit lah. Okay, number April 3rd, bought goods worth 250 by cash. So the goods here refers to inventory. So bila kita beli inventory, kita jangan debit inventory. Kita debit purchases. Ya, perbelanjaan kita bertambah. Okay, so bila perbelanjaan kita bertambah, so debit purchases, cash kita berkurang kan sebab kita bayar guna cash. So credit cash. Okay, 5 hari bulan, bought goods 1,000 on cash, on credit from Wong. So Wong is our creditors. Kita beli secara hutang daripada Wong. Wong tu kita punya creditors ataupun account payable. So account payable di bawah liability. Liability bertambah, kita credit. So debit purchases RM1,000, credit creditor Wong, ya, RM1,000. Di bawah current liability awak, kita ada item short term loan. Ingat tak? Short term loan, kita ada item creditors ataupun account payable. So ini adalah short term loan, ya. So kita kreditkan dia sebagai creditor Wong. Kenapa ada Wong dekat sini? Sebab kalau awak ada 2-3 creditor, awak tak boleh lambak semua creditor. Awak kena spesifikkan ini account creditor Wong, ini account untuk creditor lain pula. You have to specify which account belongs to which creditor. Okay, 6 hari bulan, sold goods on credit. So ini jualan, ya, jualan bertambah, kredit, revenue bertambah, kredit. Asset kita bertambah sebab debtors kita semakin bertambah, debit, debtors, CMAX. Yeah. You have to specify which debtor is this, CMAX. Debit, debtor, CMAX 2,000, credit, sales 2,000. Okay, so goods worth 2,250 for cash, ya, duit kita bertambah sebab kita jual barang kita, cash bertambah lah. So debit cash, debit asset kita 2,250, credit revenue, ya, sebab revenue bertambah, credit sales. Return goods to Wong. So ini adalah purchase return. Purchase return. Awak kena tahu siapa Wong ni. Who is Wong? Wong is our creditor. So maksudnya kita pulangkan semula barang kepada supplier kita, creditor kita. So ini adalah purchase return. Purchase return mengurangkan purchases. So bila dia mengurangkan expense, dia mesti sebelah credit. So letak credit purchase return RM65. Debit creditor Wong. Kenapa kita debit creditor Wong? Sebab bila kita pulang barang kepada Wong, hutang kita kepada Wong semakin berkurang. Now we no longer owe him 1,000, we only owe him RM935. Betul kita kena debitkan dia. Okay. Paid rent amounting to 200 by check. So rent, ya, rent. So expense bertambah, debit rent expense, bank berkurang, credit bank. Okay. So lama-lama awak akan jadi mahir lah, ya. So mula-mula susah sikit. But the more question you do later on, you're going to get more used to this kind of question. Nanti debit ke debit semua akan jadi laju, ya. CMAX Berhal has returned goods worth RM85. So who is CMAX? CMAX is our debtors. So bila debtor, dia buat pulangan masuk. Dia buat pulangan jualan. So sales return mengurangkan revenue. Sales return mengurangkan revenue. So debit sales return RM85, kredit debtors CMAX. So maksudnya CMAX bukan lagi dah berhutang kita RM2,000. Lepas kita dah tolak RM85, dia cuma berhutang kita RM1915. Okay. Kemudian bought a van, price at 10,000 on credit for maju motor. So van kita bertambah, debit asset, debit van. Credit loan ya, on credit maksudnya hutang kita kepada maju motor pun bertambah. So maju motor sebelah kredit sebab apa? Sebab dia adalah liability. Liability kita berhutang dengan maju motor sekarang ni. So dia liability. Bila liability bertambah, kita kredit. Okay, return goods worth RM20 to Wong. So siapa Wong ni? Wong adalah kita punya creditor. So kita pulang lagi barang kepada Wong. Tadi dah pulang barang dah, so RM65. Kita pulang lagi barang RM70 kepada Wong. So seperti biasa, debit creditor Wong, kurangkan hutang kita kepada Wong. Credit purchase return, sebab repurchase return mengurangkan expenses. 12 hari bulan, paid wages amounting to $250 by cash. So expense kita bertambah, debit expense, credit cash, cash kita berkurang. 13 hari bulan, receive a check of $3,000 being a loan from kawanku. So kita berhutang dengan kawanku, loan kita bertambah RM3,000, creditor liability bertambah sebelah kredit. Bank kita bertambah sebab receive check ya. So debit bank RM3,000, credit loan. So goods worth $2,000 on credit to Salman. So Salman ni adalah kita punya debtor sebab on credit. Salman ambil barang, dia bayar kemudian. So debit Salman, debtor Salman, credit sales. Ya, revenue bertambah ya, credit lah. Lepas tu Salman pulang barang 125. Ni adalah sales return. Sales return mengurangkan revenue. So debit sales return, credit Salman. Okay, receive a check from CMAX Berhad after deducting 5% of discount ya. So bila kita discount allowed, tadi kita cakap apa? Discount allowed adalah dia mengurangkan revenue. Mengurangkan revenue. Jadi kita kena letak sebelah debit. Okay, bila dia mengurangkan revenue, letak sebelah debit. Dia kita receive check kan, so bank bertambah sebelah debit juga. Jadi bila CMAX dah bayar hutang dia pada kita, jadi hutang dia berkurang. Okay. So debit bank, debit discount allowed, credit CMAX. Kenapa saya letak tak ada soal dekat bilang value dia? Nanti kita akan tengok dalam T account kan. Baru kita boleh nampak berapa banyak hutang dia yang tinggal untuk kita kira discount dia. Saya nak check for $830 to Wong, receive cash discount of RM35. So bila kita bayar hutang kepada Wong, Wong bagi kita discount RM35. Okay, so kita bayar kan. So credit bank berkurang. Discount receive sebelah kredit sebab apa? Dia mengurangkan belanja. Dia mengurangkan expenses. Okay, jadi kita bayar tutup hutang Wong kita RM865. Okay, kenapa kita debitkan Wong? Sebab bila kita bayar hutang kat Wong, hutang kita kepada Wong, liability semakin berkurang, letak sebelah debit. Okay, deposited $2,000 of cash into bank account. Right, again sama macam yang ni lah. Sama ya. So debit bank, credit cash. The owner of the business to RM50 worth of goods for his own use. So ni adalah drawing. Drawing mengurangkan capital sebelah debit. So debit drawing, credit purchases ya, sebab dia ambil goods. Kalau dia ambil RM50 cash, awak credit cash RM50. Tapi sebab dia ambil goods, so kita credit purchases. Drawing mengurangkan inventory kita lah. So awak credit purchases. Okay, so let's see how it's being recorded in the trial balance. Okay. Alright. Macam tadi lah ya, bila saya cakap debit cash, credit capital, buka account cash, buka account capital. So bila debit cash, letak 1 hari bulan sebelah debit capital 4,500. Kawan dia mana? Account capital sebelah kredit 4,500. So imbanglah, debit ada, kredit pun ada. Okey, nombor 2 tadi debit bank, credit cash kan. So buka account cash, buka account bank. So kreditkan dekat account cash, kemudian debitkan dekat account bank ya. Account bank ni. Tapi tulis particular dia kawan dia lah. Siapa kawan dia? Awak debit ke account bank, kawan kredit ke mana? Kredit ke account cash. Okay, bought goods worth 250 by cash. Okay, buka account purchaser, tulis sini 3 hari bulan. Cash 250, kawankan dia dengan account cash 3 hari bulan, purchaser RM250. Ada debit, ada kredit. Ni nama double entry ya. Bila awak debit sesuatu, awak kena kredit sesuatu. Jangan sebelah debit saja awak kredit ataupun sebelah kredit saja awak kredit. Nanti awak tak imbang. Ya, that's what it meant by double entry. Kena ada 2 kali masuk. Dekat debit kena masuk, dekat kredit pun kena masuk. 6 hari bulan, sold good 2000 to on credit to CMAC. Buka account CMAC, data CMAC. Kemudian buka account sales. Okay, debitkan, kreditkan dekat sales, debitkan dekat debtors. Okay, buat sama untuk 7 hari bulan. Jika kita jual secara tunai, sales account masuk dekat bawah saja. Account yang sama ya, masuk kat bawah sini. Kemudian kita debitkan sebab duit masuk 2,250. Ya, so bila awak tengok nanti, okay, ini kawannya di sini. Okay, ini kawannya di sini. Lepas tu, purchasers ni, mana kawan dia? Kawannya di sini. Kemudian 5 hari bulan, creditor wall 1000, kawannya di sini. Okay, lepas tu, 6 bulan jual barang kat CMAC. Ya. Ini CMAC, kawannya dekat mana? Dekat account sales. Okay. Dan so good 250 for cash. Ni ada sini, kawannya ada di sini. So dia mesti ada kawan dia on either accounts ya, barulah punya account to balance. Okay, sama ya, macam ni pun sama, return goods RM65 to wang, debit account wang, credit purchase return. So buka, sambung balik ke account wang tadi tu, masukkan purchase return, kemudian kawankan dia dengan purchase return. Ya. Yeah. Okay. Kemudian paid rent amounted to 200 by check. Okay, mana bank kita? Kita bayar rent ya. Tadi tu dah masuk slide sebelum ni ya. Ni kawan dia. Mana rent kita? Sini. Okay, and then dia kata CMAC return goods. So, dekat data CMAC ada sales return. Ini yang slide sebelumnya. Kemudian pergi ke sales return, kawankan dia. Okay, and then dia kata bought a van. Buka account van, debit, kreditkan ke account maju motor sebab dia liability. Okay, dan return goods ni, account wang mana? Dekat sini. Ikut je lah, kalau dia kata debit, kredit, kreditor wang, pergi ke account kreditor wang, masuk sebelah debit. Kredit purchase return, buka account purchase return, masuk sebelah kredit. Okay, ni pun sama, paid wages amounting to 250 by cash. So debit wages expense ni, credit cash ni. Yang ini semua yang kita masuk slide sebelum ni ya, yang kita dah masuk sebelum ni. Lepas tu receive check 3000 from loan. Okay, mana check? Ni loan 3000 sepatutnya ya. 3000. Okay, lepas tu sold goods worth on credit. Okay, so ada saman kat sini, kawannya dekat sini lah. Okay, dan ada sales return, saman buat sales return ya. So mana account saman sales return kat sini, ini kawan dia. Okay. Right, and then receive a check from CMAC Berhad after deducting 5% of cash discount. Okay, ini kita kena kira dulu ya, tengok ni, account CMAC ni. Kita dah ada sales sebelum ni RM2,000 and then kita buat pulangan RM85. Jadi, kalau dia bagi kita 5% cash discount, how much yang kita kena kira sebenarnya? Jadi, sekarang hutang kita cuma tinggal 1919. 15 ya, sebab dah pulangkan balik barang RM85 tu. Jadi 5% discount kita based on the net value that we have to pay back to, that CMAT have to pay back to us. So kita kena bagi dia diskaun RM95.75 kita bunda je lah ya. Jadi yang kita akan terima daripada CMAT cuma 1815. See, bank yang kita terima 1815. Diskaun allowed yang kita kena bagi dekat CMAT RM96. Jadi kita akan dapati bahawa kita dah habis bayar hutang. Hutang dia. Okay, so you get the numbers. So tengok ya, bank kawan dia mana kat sini. Okay, discount allowed. Kawannya di sini. Okay, so ni CMAT lah. Okay. Alright, kemudian kreditor wang 8695. Mana kreditor wang ni? Ya, maknanya bank 830. Ni kawan dia. Okay. Kemudian diskaun receive RM35. Ni kawan dia. Aduh. Ni. Right. Seterusnya deposit cash tu. Right. Keluarkan duit 2000. Masukkan dalam bank. Okay. Dan akhir sekali adalah drawing ya. Drawing. Debit drawing. Credit purchases. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. The keywords here, the most important is you need to know what is the debit, what is the credit. Debit apa, credit apa. Debit apa, credit apa. Barulah kita boleh buat ledger account ya. Kalau tak tahu debit apa, credit apa, macam mana kita nak buat ledger? Tak boleh. Ya, tak boleh. Okay, so if we look at the next question, this question I've taken from page 68 from my 4th edition textbook. The name of the company is VG Trading. So if you are using newer versions of your textbook, then the page number might be different. You just look for the VG Trading in your textbook. Okay. The question says the question asks you to record the above transaction in the relevant accounts. So the difference between this question and the previous question that we have discussed was that this question has opening balance. This question has opening balance. So what is opening balance? Opening balance. So what is opening balance? Opening balance is when you have operated from the previous year. Maknanya kita dah pernah berniaga tahun sebelumnya. So tahun yang kita nak buka account ni adalah sambungan daripada tahun yang lepas. Okay, kalau if you look at the previous question, you can clearly see that the company just started the business. Soalan sebelum tu, dia baru saja mulakan perniagaan, so there is no opening balances to be recorded. Okay, however, on this question, VG Trading has already operated for many years. And now they want to close out their account on the January 2013. So they have the opening balances, the balance that they carry forward from the previous accounting period, and then they want to bring it forward to this year. Okay. So bila ada opening balance ni, jadi kita punya record, sebelum kita record accounting transaction kita kena masukkan dahulu accounting opening balances. Alright. We're going to see how we record opening balances later on, but first we look at the transaction here. Okay, paid business telephone bill 300 by check. Alright, so the keyword here is telephone bill and check. So debit telephone bill and then we credit bank sebab duit makin berkurang And then we receive rent amounting to RM460 by check. So duit terima, so aset bertambah, bank bertambah, so debit bank, credit rent revenue. Okay, sebab revenue semakin bertambah. And then next one is cash purchase. So cash purchase worth 1,000 for Luna. So debit purchases, expense kita bertambah. So debit purchase, credit cash sebab tunai semakin berkurang. Sebab kita ada buat belian secara tunai. Okay, on 6th of January So goods on credit to Leman and Roslan worth 6,600 and 4,540 respectively. Okay, so kita akan debit debit debtors Leman 6,600 credit sales, and then kita debit debtors Roslan 4,540 credit sales. Right? On the 8th, kita bought a delivery van worth to 23,000 from Ion on credit. So kita beli van secara hutang ya. Hutang dekat Ion. So kita debit delivery van, kita credit Ion kita lah, Ion tu. Ion ni kita punya liability ya. So liability kita terhadap Ion bertambah. So kita kreditkan dia. Issue a check for 10,000 to Ion. So kita bayar balik hutang kita kepada Ion. So liability berkurang, kita debit Ion, kita credit bank sebab bank kita berkurang. Aset berkurang, sebelah credit lah. Okay, bought goods on credit from Musa and Awi worth 2,360 and 3,600 respectively. So kita akan debit purchases, ya. Purchase kreditkan ke kreditor Musa 2,360. Kreditor Awi 3,600. 12 of January, VG the owner took goods worth 860 and 350 cash for his own use. So kita ambil dua barang ya, satu kita ambil purchases, satu lagi kita ambil tunai cash. So debit drawing, credit purchases sebab expense berkurang, credit cash sebab asset berkurang. 15 hari bulan, issue a credit note for 540 to Roslan for goods returned. So, bila jualan, ini pulangan jualan ya, sales return. So, sales return mengurangkan jualan, mengurangkan revenue. So, debit sales return, credit debtors Roslan. Sebab hutang Roslan terhadap kita semakin berkurang. Aset berkurang, kita credit. Lily paid 330 cash. So, who is Lily? Lily kita ada dekat opening balance awak ni, tengok ni. Last year Lily ada hutang kat kita ya, 1330. So bulan ni dia cuma bayar 330. So debit cash, credit debtors Lily. Ya, Lily ni kita punya debtors, bila dia bayar, aset kita semakin berkurang lah sebab debtors kita berkurang. Tapi aset kita bertambah juga, cash kita bertambah. Okay, return goods worth 100 to Musa. So Musa is our creditor previously, so it is called as a purchase return. Purchase return mengurangkan expenses, so sebelah credit. So debit credit Musa, credit purchase return. Okay, pay interest of 90 ringgit by check to Bank Islam. So this is an interest expense. So expense bertambah, debit interest, expense credit bank sebab kita bayar guna bank. Roslan send check to Satis's account. Okay, nanti kita akan tengok berapa baki hutang Roslan tu ya. So duit bertambah sebab kita terima check daripada Roslan. Aset debtors kita berkurang. Debtor tu aset, bila aset berkurang kita credit lah sebab dia dah bayar hutang dia. Okay, send check to Musa and Awi to settle the account. So debit creditor sebab liability berkurang, credit bank ya sebab bank berkurang. 31st, paid wages amounting to 400 by cash. So expense bertambah, debit wages expense, credit cash sebab asset berkurang. So now we have our double entry. Then can we open our ledger? Okay, so first thing first, you need to calculate how much is the amount capital. Sebab dalam senarai opening balance kita ni, dia tak ada capital ya. So bila tak ada capital, maksudnya opening balance kita tak imbang. Dia tak imbang. So kalau opening balance tak imbang, mustahil kita boleh imbangkan kita punya transaction. So first thing first, you need to calculate how much is your capital. Okay, capital adalah asset tolak dengan liability. Okay, remember your equation, asset sama dengan liability tolak capital. Okay, so if I want to find the capital, so I need to deduct asset with liability. So saya kena identify lah mana satu yang asset. Building ni asset, furniture and fitting ni asset, inventory ni pun asset. Okay, account payable dengan loan ni adalah liability, letak kat bawah nanti. Account receivable Lily, asset, account receivable Leman, asset, cash dengan bank pun asset. So jumlah asset kita ada 53,995, tolakkan dengan liability kita, jadi Yang extra tu adalah capital, iaitu 42,720. So nanti awak kena buka akaun tambahan kita adalah akaun capital. Letak ke opening balance kita. Balance brought down 42,720. You need to calculate this first. If not, your trial balance will never be balanced. Okay, so kita buka akaun satu-satu. Buka akaun building, furniture and fitting, inventory. Buka akaun semua ni masuk ke opening balance dia. Okay, kalau dia building, dia adalah asset. So, masukkan di sebelah debit. Kalau furniture and fitting dia adalah asset, masuk sebelah debit. Inventory asset sebelah debit. Loan adalah liability, so liability sebelah credit. Creditor adalah liability sebelah credit. Cash adalah asset sebelah debit. Debtors adalah asset, so debit. Bank pun adalah asset, debit. Capital adalah equity, so di sebelah credit. Masukkan betul-betul punya opening balances ni. Okay. Dah masuk opening balance, kita barulah kita boleh record kita punya double entry yang kita dah identify tadi. Ya, yang debit telephone bill, credit bank. So, buka account. Ya. Sorry. Okay, saya debit telephone bill, saya kreditkan bank. Okay, saya debitkan rent revenue, saya kreditkan rent revenue. Okay, saya debitkan purchases, saya kreditkan cash. Okay, saya debitkan debtors. Okay, saya record dulu lemon tu. Saya debitkan debtors, saya kreditkan sales. Kemudian saya record pula yang Roslan, saya debitkan Roslan, saya kreditkan sales. Ya, dia mesti ada kawan dia. Mesti ada kawan dia. Okay, and then you remember tu yang saya maintain lagi. I still maintain my opening balances. Still maintain opening balances kita. Right. Next is bought a delivery van worth 23,000. So saya debitkan delivery van, saya kreditkan akaun Ion. Okay. Lepas tu saya ni bayar hutang kepada Ion, saya debitkan Ion, saya kreditkan bank. Okay, kemudian saya debit purchases. Ni Musa dulu ya, Musa. Musa. Okay, kemudian saya kreditkan akaun Musa. Kemudian Awi, saya kreditkan akaun Awi. Okay. Kemudian 12 bulan saya debit drawing. Ada 2 jenis drawing ya. Saya keluarkan dulu cash. Saya debit drawing, saya kredit cash. Kemudian saya bawa keluar stok, saya kreditkan akaun purchases. Okay. Seterusnya, saya debit sales return, saya kreditkan Roslan. Ni saya sambung daripada yang akaun sebelum ni ya. Kemudian Lily pula debit cash, kredit Lily. Nampak saya kredit Lily ni. Akaun Lily saya letak sebelah kredit. Okey, kemudian return goods to Musa, debit creditor Musa ni, credit purchase return. Kemudian pay interest RM90 by check, so saya debitkan interest, saya kreditkan bank. Okay. Kemudian kita Roslan bayar cek untuk settle ke akaun dia. Okay, awak tengok ni. Saya debitkan bank, tapi tak tahu berapa ringgit kan. So pergi ke akaun Roslan, identify lah berapa ringgit. So sales tadi kita jual kat dia 4540, lepas tu dia pulang balik barang 540. Jadi dia hanya perlu bayar RM4,000. So bila kita boleh lihat ya, dah tak ada baki dah dalam akaun Roslan ni sebab dia dah bayar habis. So we know that we need to debit bank 4,000, credit debtors Roslan 4,000. Okay, lepas tu Musa dengan Awi pun sama. Dia pun bayar hutang dia. So debit creditor Musa. kreditkan bank. Debit kreditor awi, kreditkan bank. Okay. Lepas tu debit wages, kredit cash. Macam tu. Kalau soalan bagi awak opening balances, first thing first you need to calculate is the capital. Kalau dia dah bagi capital tak ada masalah lah. Awak boleh terus buka ledger, masukkan opening balances. Tapi kalau dia tak bagi capital, awak kena kira dahulu capital, imbangkan dahulu awak punya opening balances. Kemudian baru buka ledger, masukkan opening balances mengikut. Kalau dia debit, kalau dia asset, ada item tu opening balances tu asset, masukkan sebelah debit. Kalau opening balances item tu adalah liability ataupun equity, masuk sebelah credit. Baru kita buat accounting transactions. Okay, lepas dah buka account semua, kita kena belajar tutup account tu. We need to learn on how to close off the ledger so that we can transfer the balance to the trial balance. Kita nak tahu berapa baki dan serta account yang tinggal tu. Contohnya tadi, remember your bank account tadi, yang kita dah masukkan daripada opening balance, kemudian kita masukkan transaction sepanjang bulan. So now I would like to close off the account. So, kira dahulu mana lagi banyak. Kat sebelah debit lagi banyak ke kat sebelah kredit lagi banyak. So saya dah kira sebelah debit, saya punya debit, total debit yang 12,000 tambah 460 tambah 4,000 jumlahnya adalah 16,460. Kalau yang sebelah kredit pula jumlahnya adalah 16,250. So debit lagi banyak pada kredit. So masukkan baki, jumlah kita ni 16,460, 16,460. Jadi saya kena cari berapa baki saya kena tambah untuk melengkapi 16,460. Okay. So, tolaklah 16,460, tolak 16,250. So, baki duit dalam bank kita cuma tinggal 2,160. 2,210. Okay. So, kita nak tulis apa? Awak kena tulis itu. Balance carried down. Balance CD, balance tulis tarikh akhir bulan, tulis ni balance carried down. Maknanya kita akan bawa baki bulan Januari ke bulan Februari. Baki bank kita untuk bulan Januari adalah RM210. Okay, kalau di account dia adalah account asset, liability ataupun equity, awak akan tulis balance carried down lah. Tapi kalau dia adalah asset, ledger untuk revenue ataupun expenses, contoh macam purchases account ni kan. So, awak kira macam biasalah. Sebelah debit 6960, sebelah kredit 860. Jadi saya kena masukkan saya kena transfer 6,100. So tapi tak boleh tulis balance carried down ya. Awak kena tulis tu transfer to profit and loss. Okay. Alright. Title-nya berbeza, kena hati-hati. Alright. So lihat ya, saya tutup account ni. Ini yang saya buat dulu yang contoh soalan yang tak ada opening balances tadi tu. Okay, saya tutup account saya. Tengok ni macam mana saya tutup. Saya tambahkan ni 6750, ni 6750. Bakinya di sini adalah balance to be carried down lah, which is 750. Tengok saya tulis balance carried down sebab ni adalah account asset. Balance carried down sebab ni adalah account bank asset lah. Yang discount receipt ni adalah dia mengurangkan expense ya. Saya tak tulis balance carried down, saya tulis apa? Profit and loss. Okay. Kalau contoh macam CMAC ni pula, macam creditor wang ni, awak dapati bahawa sebelah debit dengan sebelah kredit dia dah imbang siap-siap. Tak ada baki lagi nak dibawa ke bawah. So tutup sahaja macam ni. Maknanya hutang kita kepada wang telah pun habis. Sama lah macam CMAC punya, awak dapati debit dan kredit awak imbang dah. Tanpa perlu cari balance carried down. So maksudnya account debtors CMAC kita telah pun habis. Ya, tahu dia suka allow sebab dia adalah account profit or loss. So hantar dia profit or loss. Purchase adalah account expense, so saya masukkan ke profit and loss. Okay, ini saya tutup lah. Saya tutup account van. Okay, saya balance carry down ke dia. Tutup account maju motor. Saya tutup account purchase return. Saya tutup account sales return. Saya tutup account rent expense. Saya tutup account sales account. Saya tutup account wages. Saya tutup account capital. Okay, saya tutup juga account drawing. debtors dengan loan. Okay. So dah tutup account baru boleh prepare trial balance. So how do you prepare trial balance ya? Awak tengok ni ya contohnya ya. Tengok kat contoh akan drawing ni. Tengok ni. Okay, balance credit down kita berbaki kredit kan? Tapi kenapa saya letak kat sebelah debit? Sebab bila kita balance brought down nanti, untuk Februari 1, April Mei. Untuk Mei 1, tahun depan, bulan depan, bila saya buat balance brought down, saya akan bawa dia bersilang ke sebelah debit. RM50. So, bulan Mei nanti, saya akan tulislah balance brought down RM50 untuk bulan depan punya opening balances. Jadi, bila kita bawa sini ke sebelah debit, jadi kat sini awak kena tulis di sebelah debit. Debit. Tengok debtor Salman ya. Baki akhir dia sebelah kredit kat sini kan. Tapi bila bawa bulan depan, jadi sebelah debit. Jadi sebelah debit. So, bila akaun Salman, masukkan sebelah debit. Okay, another thing is that you should know that debtors in an asset account. Debtor ni adalah account asset. Bila asset, dia mesti berbaki debit. Okay, loan ni adalah liability. Dia mesti berbaki kredit. Tahun depan kita bawa dia, kita akan balance brought down dia dekat sebelah kredit. Jadi baki-baki tadi tu masuk. Cash berbaki debit, bank berbaki debit. Semua ni aset ni aset. Sekarang receive ni mengurangkan expenses. So di sebelah kredit, wages adalah expense sebelah debit. Sekarang mengurangkan revenue so sebelah debit. Purchases adalah expense sebelah debit, bank assets sebelah debit. Okay, maju motor liability sebelah kredit. Okay, so on and so forth. Ini awak akan dapati account kita akan balance. Bila balance ni maksudnya double entry awak masa buat ledger tu betul dah. Betul dah. Okay, and then please also take note of the title. Title salah, tak ada markah ya. Dia mesti trial balance as at 30th April 2003. Mesti pada perkataan as at pada tarikh tersebut. Pada tarikh tersebut, apakah kita punya item dalam ledger kita. Okay, I also have done to you, I've closed off the accounts untuk yang soalan yang ada opening balances tadi tu. Ya, awak boleh lihat ya, saya letak balance carried down untuk account, asset. Kalau dia adalah expense, saya cakap itu profit and loss. So, saya tutup account, saya siap. Tengok, kita dapati juga debtors Roslan ni dah habis, dah kosong. Tak ada balance carried down. Bila tak ada balance carried down, jangan masuk dalam trial balance. Ya, Awi pun sama. Jangan masuk dalam trial balance sebab dah tak ada baki dah. Okey. Saya tutup semua. Tengoklah. Nanti saya upload video ni, awak boleh tengok lama-lama lah. Tekanlah pause tu, tengok lama-lama macam mana saya buat. Okey. Habis settle semua. Ini saya prepare trial balance. So, tengoklah diimbang. So, bila trial balance kita imbang, maksudnya all your double entry principle that you have used are all insyaAllah correct. Okay? InsyaAllah correct. Okay, so this is the end of the principle of double entry. But basically what we have done here, we have done up until balancing of the account and the trial balance, which is on chapter 5 actually dalam buku teks awak. Kita dah buat sampai closing of the trial balance, ledger and preparing the trial balance dalam chapter 5 dalam buku teks awak. Alright, so dah terlaju sikit lah. Ya, tapi sebab benda ni sangat berkait rapat, saya malah nak pecah-pecahkan video-video tu. So you can see the flow of it. So if there's any question, please ask me in your WhatsApp group. Contoh-contoh soalan untuk yang soalan trial balance ni hanya dalam buku teks sahaja ya. Sebab pasir kita tak tanya soalan trial balance. So it should be in your textbook. Dekat akhir buku teks tu ada jawapan. So awak boleh buat, kemudian awak tengok jawapannya kat belakang. If you are unsure what's the double entry for any transaction, you can simply ask me in the WhatsApp group so that all of your friends can benefit from your questions. So wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.